Hello, friends. If you are turning 62 this year, or you just turned 62, I need you to stay with me until the very end of this video. Because what I'm about to share could cost you, or save you, hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. And I mean real money, not the kind of savings where you clip coupons and feel good about 50 cents off a can of soup. I'm talking about the single most irreversible financial decision of your retirement: when to claim Social Security. Here's the thing most people never find out. The moment you turn 62, the Social Security Administration sends you a letter inviting you to claim your benefits. It feels like a reward. It feels like you finally get to collect what you paid into the system for decades. But hidden in that letter is a massive, permanent penalty. If you claim at 62, the government will slash your monthly check by up to 30%. Forever. The money is sitting there. The math is written in federal law. But every month that goes by without you understanding this penalty is another month of locking in a lifetime of poverty. I went through the latest SSA guidelines, the 2026 actuarial tables, and the exact mathematical formulas they use. And I found the brutal truth about claiming early, plus 3 specific types of people who actually benefit from doing it. Stay until the end, because loophole number 3 is the spousal bridge strategy, and it could save your marriage from financial ruin if one of you loses a job. Real quick before we get into it, if you're not subscribed to this channel yet, hit that button right now and turn on notifications. The rules around Social Security change every single year. I cover all of that in plain English, so you always know what you're actually entitled to before it's too late. The people who are subscribed stay ahead of this stuff. The people who aren't tend to find out too late, right when they realize they can't undo their mistake. So subscribe now, and let's get into it. To understand why claiming at 62 is usually a trap, you have to understand one concept: full retirement age. For most people turning 62 right now, your full retirement age, or FRA, is 67. That is the magic number the government uses to calculate your standard benefit. Let's say the SSA calculates that at age 67, you are entitled to exactly $2,000 a month. That is your baseline. But the government also knows that some people want their money early. So they offer you a deal. You can have your money right now at 62, but we are going to charge you a penalty for every single month you claim before your 67th birthday. And this is not a temporary penalty. This is not a fine that goes away when you turn 67. This is a permanent, irreversible reduction that will follow you to the grave. If your full benefit at 67 is $2,000 and you claim at 62, the SSA will slash your check by exactly 30%. Your new monthly payment is $1,400. You just lost $600 a month. That is $7,200 a year. And because Social Security gives you cost of living adjustments based on a percentage, you will lose that raise on a smaller base every single year for the rest of your life. The government doesn't send you a warning label explaining this. They just mail you the check. You have to know the math to fight back. This brings us to the most important mathematical concept in Social Security: the break-even age. The SSA will tell you that if you claim early, you will collect more checks over your lifetime because you are collecting them for a longer period of time. And mathematically, they are right. For a while. If you claim at 62, you get 8 extra years of checks, but those checks are 30% smaller. The break-even age is the exact age where the total amount of money you would have received by waiting finally catches up to the total amount of money you received by claiming early. For the vast majority of people, the break-even age is between 78 and 79 years old. Let me say that again. If you claim at 62, you will be mathematically behind the person who waited until 67 until you are at least 78 years old. Think about that. For 16 years, the person who waited is collecting more money every single month, slowly erasing the head start you got by claiming early. It is a slow, painful mathematical catch-up game. The government's actuaries designed the system so that, on average, the total payout is exactly the same whether you claim early or wait. If you live to be 85, the person who waited until 67 will have collected roughly $120,000 more than you did. $120,000. That is the cost of wanting your money a few years early. So, who actually benefits from claiming at 62? This is the part the financial gurus never talk about. They just yell at you to wait until 70. But there are 3 specific types of people who should absolutely claim at 62. Loophole number 1 is for those with severe health issues or a short life expectancy. If you have a chronic illness, a terminal diagnosis, or a family history where nobody lives past 75, the math completely flips. Remember, the break-even age is 78. If you do not expect to live to 78, you should take the money right now. There is no reason to delay your benefits to maximize a check for a retirement you might not get to enjoy. The government's penalty is designed for people who live a long time. If you aren't going to live a long time, take the early money and use it to make your current days as comfortable as possible. Write this down. Your health is the ultimate tiebreaker. Loophole number 2 is for those facing immediate, crushing high-interest debt. Let's say you just lost your job at 61, you have no savings, and you are drowning in credit card debt with 20% interest rates. The Social Security delayed retirement credits only give you an 8% boost for every year you wait. If you are paying 20% interest to a credit card company, you are losing 12% every single year by waiting. In this scenario, claiming at 62 is not a penalty. It is a financial rescue mission. You take the Social Security money, you kill the high-interest debt immediately, and you stop the bleeding. Do not let the promise of a slightly larger check in 5 years force you into bankruptcy today. Survival always comes first. And loophole number 3. This is the one almost nobody talks about, and it is the ultimate safety net for married couples. It is the spousal bridge strategy. Let's say you are 62 and your spouse is 60. You both lose your jobs at the same time. You have zero income. You need cash flow right now to buy groceries and pay the mortgage. But your spouse's Social Security benefit is much higher than yours, and you want them to wait until they are 70 to maximize it. Here is the play. You, the lower earner, claim your benefit at 62. Yes, you take the 30% penalty, but your check provides the immediate cash flow the family needs to survive. This allows your higher-earning spouse to keep their money in their retirement accounts, let it grow, and delay their claim until 70 to get the maximum possible benefit. Furthermore, when the higher earner eventually passes away, the surviving spouse gets to switch to the higher earner's maximized survivor benefit. By taking the penalty early, you built a bridge that allowed the household to survive while still protecting the ultimate survivor benefit. It is a brilliant, strategic use of the early claiming penalty. But if you do not fall into one of those 3 categories, you need to understand the longevity gamble. If you are healthy, if you have no crushing debt, and if you don't need the spousal bridge, claiming at 62 is a massive gamble against your own lifespan. Women in particular need to pay attention here. Statistically, women live longer than men. If you are a healthy 62-year-old woman, there is a very high probability you will live into your late 80s or even 90s. If you claim early, you are voluntarily accepting a 30% pay cut for the last 20 or 30 years of your life. You are essentially buying a few extra years of slightly smaller checks in your 60s at the expense of being broke in your 80s. And in your 80s, that is exactly when you need the money the most. That is when medical bills spike. That is when you might need to pay for in-home care. That is when you cannot afford a 30% cut. And unlike a retirement account, your Social Security check cannot run out. It does not matter if the stock market crashes or if you live to be 105. That check will keep coming. That check will keep adjusting for inflation. And it will keep adjusting for inflation. It is the ultimate longevity insurance. It is the ultimate longevity insurance. By claiming early, you are essentially canceling your own longevity insurance policy just to get a slightly larger payout. Let's bring it all together. Let's bring it all together. Claiming at 62. The math behind claiming at 30% permanent penalty. The 30% permanent penalty. The break-even age of 78. The break-even age of 78. Where waiting finally pays off. Severe health issues. Crushing high-interest debt. And the spousal bridge strategy for married couples in crisis. None of these decisions happen in a crisis. The Social Security Administration is not going to tell you to wait. The Social Security Administration is not going to tell you to wait. They want you process whatever decision is locked in forever. Once you file, undo it. The decision is knowledge is genuinely the only thing standing between you and a secure retirement. Genuinely the only thing standing between you and a secure retirement. Please subscribe and pass it along to someone you know who is turning 62 this year. Pass it along to someone you know who is turning 62 this year. A husband, a wife, a friend, a neighbor. One conversation can save someone hundreds of thousands of dollars over their lifetime. I'll see you in the next